Greetings, and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. This is your host, the Barkeep, bringing you podcast 39 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. And just a quick note, as you all have noticed, I have changed my opening catchphrase, and that is simply for three reasons here tonight. One, I am now officially a Japanese study major at the university. Two, Japan is my second highest viewing market, so I'm very proud of that. And three, tonight's subject is specifically on a Japanese topic, in this case, Super Sentai, and the reveal of Tokyo Ranger. And now that it's been out for a couple of days, I've let it process, I let it sink in, I've looked at the images over and over, and I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about those tonight. Specifically, I want to go ahead and talk about the suits and the main Megazord, the Mecha, and just kind of give my quick thoughts on those. I'm like everybody. It seems as soon as these images came out, everybody was like, whoa, something's wrong right here. Because they look very odd and don't really look like a Sentai team in both their suits and the Zords. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The images don't look as good. Maybe this is not a finished product. Maybe they will look better in high definition. Who knows? It could be a number of things here. But I don't want to judge too quickly, but I just want to give you guys my immediate thoughts after, just after a day or two of just kind of staring at these images and trying to make something out of them. First of all, as far as the Ranger suits are concerned, they are very minimalistic and kind of in a bad way. Okay. I'm glad they're back to the traditional color set. As I've stated before, I like the red, blue, green, yellow, and pink, and it is very obvious that we now have yellow female and pink female back. That's fine. I like that. It's very traditional, goes all the way back to Go Ranger. Well, not with the female, but of course you get my point. So I like that. The helmets, I kind of like the railroad tracks over the visor. I would imagine that's very difficult to see out of, more difficult than, say, the Shinkenger helmets. So that's a bit odd to me. The numbering system on the suits, that's been around for a while, a lot of different incarnations, most obvious being Deca Ranger SPD. But just the pattern that they have is kind of odd. I don't know if it's supposed to be like what a train track would look like on a map or something. It's got these black and white segments. I'm not quite sure what the shape is trying to make. It's a little odd in that regard, so I am a bit confused by it. And there's nothing else on the suit. If you actually look at it, their gloves and their boots are plain white, got small silver trim. There is no other pattern, intricate or otherwise, on there. And the only real difference between the Rangers other than their numbers are their helmets. Now, the idea is that each Ranger is based off a different style of train. The Red Ranger being off a steam locomotive, basically. So if you look at his helmet, you'll see, the circular and the chimney stack and all that. So that actually looks pretty cool. Except on the other Rangers, at least looking at this picture, it's not very distinguishable. You can't really tell the difference between them other than the colors. They all kind of look the same. Maybe that'll change once we kind of see them in full motion. But just looking at the straight up picture, they do look almost identical other than the colors. And I also find it odd because you notice that they have their number on their chest and also on their helmet. Kind of reminds me of Superman Returns in a way, like because he had the logo on his chest, on the back of the cape, on the back of his boots, he had it on his belt, as if you didn't know he was Superman. So I just find it really interesting that the number is plastered on both the helmet and on the chest piece. And that's another thing too, there is no real uniformity with the chest piece because, yeah, I know it's different numbers and everything, but is that their logo? Is that supposed to be like their team logo, this little weird crossbar black and white segment thing? I'm not getting that. Hopefully time will tell. It'll make a little bit more sense as to what it is. Maybe these suits will go ahead and grow on me. I'm really hoping they have a super mode to enhance the look. And I almost get the feeling that maybe there might be a little bit of variation once we get to the series. I mean, these look like live people instead of artist renditions or anything. So I don't know. It's a little lackluster. And the biggest criticism so far is everybody says they look like the grunts. They don't actually look like Sentai or Power Rangers. That they look like evil Ranger clones or foot soldiers or something. And that's a fair criticism. It seems to me that what they did in Kyuryuger is a lot of detail. Now, granted, that's a little bit busy, but they really went the complete opposite direction, went real simplistic here. And sometimes that can be a good thing, but I think in this case, it's really too simple. But again, let's give it time. Let's see what happens, and maybe I'll like it later on. And I kind of hope I do. The next big issue for me that I want to go ahead and talk about is the reveal of the Zords. And I believe the Megazord is called Tokiro, I believe. Let me correct that eventually. But it is made up of 5 train cars. And, what's really cool is, like the Super Train Megazord before the Grand Liner, all 5 trains will go in a row. And then they will become the arms and the legs, and all that stuff. But the transformation is very different, as you'll see in this picture right here. But it's still the traditional: one train is the arm, one train is the leg, kind of. But as cool as this, because again, I love trains. This was the big thing for me when I heard Tokyo Ranger was going to be based on trains, about the Japanese heritage. Oh my goodness, do these look like Bandai of America knockoffs? You are seeing the images from the magazine scan. First of all, they look like they have no detail at all. A lot of the Zords recently have had a lot of great detail, good paint jobs, some chrome on them, intricate designs. They are of real high quality. I'm not seeing that here in these scans. I'm looking at it, looks like they are single pieces of cheap plastic. I'm not really seeing the great detail here. And they also look kind of small. I mean, given the actual size, if you line all 5 train cars up, it's about 3 feet long, it looks like. But they still seem so small and, again, not detailed. It doesn't look like any attention went into this. I mean, frankly, this looks like Thomas the Tank Engine kind of stuff. I don't know. It just looks... This looks like what Bandai of America would release as a Power Ranger toy based on Tokyo Ranger, Power Rangers Train Force or something like that. That's what this indeed looks like. And even look at this image here of its sword. It looks like I think they call it the Rail Saber in RPM, but it's from Go Onger, the sword or stick weapon / gun that they use to attack with. Oh, I wish I could remember the Japanese name off the top of my head right now, but it doesn't even look like... It doesn't look like it's real. That's the weird thing about looking at these images, is that they don't look like they are real. And that is a major issue that I have, is that if you look at these, you could say, if somebody was to ask somebody else, that doesn't know anything about Power Rangers, they would say, oh, that looks like a Power Ranger knockoff. That doesn't look like an authentic Power Ranger anything. It looks cheap. That's the thing that really bothers me. And I know they're probably going to sell this thing for about $70, $80, whatever, and then triple that once it gets on eBay and Amazon. But it just looks like a bunch of cheap plastic. Now, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping these scans aren't the finished detail, because you always get in the box that says, actual product may vary and all that kind of stuff. So maybe there's some chrome lining. Maybe there's heavy metal in there. Maybe these are going to actually be better than what I see here. And I really, really hope that's the case. But we're not going to go ahead and know until the premiere in February. February 16th is when it's going to go ahead and start. Obviously, we're going to see the Rangers' first episode. Maybe we'll see the Zords in the first episode. But I'm really actually looking forward to getting the toy itself when it's released in Japan, obviously in February, maybe early March, kind of depends. I'm still excited for Tokyo Ranger, don't get me wrong. I really want to go ahead and see it, and I do plan to still do my vlog series. But just the aesthetic of the show so far doesn't look very appealing, and that's what's really bothering me. They look like knockoff costumes, they look like cheap knockoff Zords. Maybe simplicity is the route they are going. Again, we just have to see how that's all going to go ahead and shake out. And I really hope that I will love this series because, again, I love trains. I love its connection to Japanese history. I just want to go ahead and see it done well, of course. I mean, I obviously want a good story. They're going to have more Rangers. They're going to have more Zords. Maybe they'll have a chance to redeem themselves later on. Maybe they'll change things. Heck, if Go Buster was so unpopular and they actually changed the theme song, who knows what they would change if this was unpopular for some reason. But those are just kind of like my direct thoughts at the moment. Again, I kind of hope I'm proven wrong on a couple of things here. Again, I want to love this show. I really do. Let's see where it takes us. And we'll go from there. But, hey, guys, you tell me, what do you think of the Tokyo Ranger suits? What do you think of the Zords? Are they good? Are they bad? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you indifferent? I mean, what is your opinion? Let me know in the comments section. And when I hear more, I will let you guys know as soon as I can. But thank you guys for listening to my ramblings once again. Have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.